Hello, my name's Rosa. I'm 35 years old and I'm a hugely successful woman now. However, this success did not happen overnight. I had to go through a lot to get here, and today I want to share my story with you. I grew up in a pretty rough family. My parents had a very rough relationship, and I was only born because my parents thought that having a child would fix their relationship. Let me tell you, I did not fix their relationship. If anything, I only made it worse. Eventually, my mom left and my dad couldn't take care of me all by himself. He ended up leaving me at an orphanage just a few months after my mom left. I remained at the orphanage until I was 18, and then I had to fend for myself. I worked as many odd jobs as I could while still trying to attend college. One of the many odd jobs I worked was a bartender at the local bar in my town. That is where I happened to meet my ex-husband, Kyle. Kyle and his colleagues had come to town for some business meeting and stopped by the bar to relax. I caught Kyle's eye and he started a conversation with me. He was very charming and also very handsome, so of course I was smitten. I was around 22 at this time while he was 35. I didn't mind the age difference because he seemed genuine and kind. We exchanged phone numbers that day and began talking a lot. He would frequently visit town just to see me, so of course, when he asked me to be his girlfriend, I said yes. We dated for 3 years before Kyle asked me to marry him. I was ecstatic and I said yes. We got married in the courthouse and it was the happiest day of my life. After that, though, is when Kyle revealed to me that he had 2 kids. Now, you'd think I'd find out about it at some point during our relationship, but I really did not. I was shocked, and I didn't know how to react to that. I never wanted to have kids because I knew firsthand what ruining a child's life would look like. And I never wanted to even mistakenly do that. But I loved Kyle, so I forgave him for hiding such a huge thing from me. A few months after we got married, Kyle asked me if I wanted to move to his city. I was hesitant at first, but he assured me that I would be well taken care of. He showed me how much he earned and promised that I wouldn't have to work a day in my life if I moved in with him. I was skeptical about it because I had only just gotten an offer letter from a good company at the time. Taking that job would mean very good financial security. But Kyle was insistent on me moving in with him, so I gave up that opportunity to be with him. Moving in with Kyle turned out to be a horrible decision. First of all, I tried my hardest to find another job but could not seem to get it anywhere. When I got frustrated about that, Kyle told me not to worry about it and told me to simply take care of the house and all of them. So that's what I did. I was practically a nanny and a housemaid for them because all I ever did was clean up after them and drive them places. Secondly, his kids, Gabby and Alex, were a nightmare. Gabby was the oldest. She was 5 years older than her brother, Alex. Thankfully, both of them were grown enough that I didn't have to care for them like toddlers. But being that grown up meant that they knew just what to say to hurt me. I never approached them with the idea of replacing their mother. I knew that I would always just be their father's wife, and I was okay with that. However, they seemed to have it in their mind that I was there to replace their mother who had passed away 4 years ago. Kyle had also not informed his children that he'd be getting married until he randomly showed up with me one day. Needless to say, the kids were horrible to me. One particular day while eating dinner, Kyle happened to ask the kids how their days were. "So, how was school, kids?" It was normal." "Mine was fun. My friends and I played basketball during the break, so school was fun." "That's good to hear. I hope you've been doing your homework, both of you. I know I've been busy recently, but that doesn't mean that you get to slack off." "Yes, Dad, we have been doing our homework. I still have an essay to write." "What is it on? Maybe Gabby or Rosa could help you." I don't think they could help me. I need to write about the job responsibilities of a particular profession. I get to choose the profession, so I was wondering if you could help me, Dad. I'm a little too busy for that, kiddo. Gabby could help you out, though. She works at Starbucks, so she could give you some insight into that. Or you could also write about what being a stay-at-home mother is like. Do you want him to fail? That's not a job. Leave it to Rosa to come up with the dumbest idea ever. I know that you guys think housework is not work, but it is. You're just trying to get us to pity you. Alex will not be writing on the duties of a housewife. That's just pathetic. Why do you think that's pathetic? Do you think it's easy to look after the entire house and the people living in it? It's definitely easier than working for the entire day. Taking care of the house and the people in it is working every day, all the time. As soon as I wake up, I'm preparing breakfast for all of you, doing the dishes, ironing your clothes for school and work. That's only the start of my day. So you can imagine how much work I have to get done during the rest of the day. You literally get to nap whenever you want, and you get to relax at home all day if you want. Stop trying to act like you do so much work. If I stopped doing my work, believe me, none of you would survive. I think we would do more than survive. It's pathetic that Dad married someone like you. You get to freeload off of all of our earnings. Calling yourself a stay-at-home mother is a disgrace because you're not our mother, and especially because we watched how hard our mother worked. There's no way you could be anything like her. Excuse me? That's enough. Gabby, help Alex with his homework. Now, let's change the topic. I was shocked. I couldn't believe that the kids thought that way about me, and I couldn't believe that Kyle did not intervene. He just changed the subject and acted as if whatever the kids had said did not happen. I barely ended up eating dinner that night, and when I tried to talk to Kyle about it, he told me he was too exhausted. He then continued to ignore me over the rest of the week, but the kids' words stuck with me. They had even gotten worse because they noticed that Kyle hadn't said anything to them. They continued to insult me, and instead of being subtle about it, they were very open about it. Finally, I'd had enough and cornered Kyle after he'd come back from work. We need to talk. Can we not? I'm exhausted. No, this is serious. Fine, what is it? Why do you and the kids treat me like I'm trash? Do I not have any value just because I'm a stay-at-home mom or even a housewife? We're not treating you like trash. You just tend to glorify your position in this house, and you need to be put in your place for that. I'm not glorifying anything. I know how hard I'm working, and when you guys keep disregarding it, I get defensive. That's your fault then. No one's asking you to get so defensive. We're simply arguing with your points because you bring them up. Okay, but that does not give the kids the right to speak to me like I'm some peasant. If we lived in that era, I'm sure you'd be considered a peasant. You have nothing to your name, and you're only surviving because I'm providing for you. The kids simply picked up on that truth, and they're calling you out for thinking you're some godly being because you do the chores around the house. I have never considered myself a godly being because I do the work around the house. I just want you guys to show me some respect. I'm not your maid. I am literally a part of your family. You need to tell Gabby and Alex to be nicer to me. I can't say anything to them. They saw how hard their mother and I worked. So Gabby was not wrong about what she said that day. You are a disgrace compared to their mother. Whatever I say in favor of you will only push them further away from me, and you know I can't let them do that. You do realize that the only reason that I'm not working is because you made me move to another state when I was still living in poverty and trying to find better jobs. I had an opportunity, but you forced me to come here. I have not been able to get a job here at all, and you promise to take care of me. You need to tell the kids that, so that they don't think I'm some freeloader. Then that will make me the bad guy. Besides, you only tried to search for jobs at the start of your move here. You can easily do something else now. You don't have to work in your field. I went to help my friend after she gave birth 2 weeks ago, and when I got back, the house was a disaster. None of you ate proper meals, and there was definitely something living in the sink. Do you honestly think that I'll be able to work anywhere and take care of the house at the same time? There you go again, making it seem like we're incompetent people. You are. That's why I'm telling you that you need to educate your kids on how to be respectful and how to do things around the house. When I tried to do that, they told me I was not their mother and you sided with them. Now they're even more disrespectful and you're still on their side. You do not get to speak of my children that way. They will behave in any way they see fit. If you can't stand the disrespect, then get off your butt and start working. I don't want to have this conversation anymore. I couldn't believe that Kyle was not standing up for me. I couldn't understand what had happened to the charming man I had married. Were these his true colors? Had he only married me so he could avoid his duties as a father? These questions never left me for the next 3 years. I stayed only because I felt like the kids needed someone who would take care of them. I knew that they hated me and would never like me, but I hoped that they would one day come to their senses and at least appreciate whatever I did for them. It hurt to be discarded so easily, but I also knew that they were only children who were behaving that way because Kyle failed as a parent. Those 2 years were nothing short of a nightmare for me. I was constantly yelled at by all 3 of them for something or another. They treated me like I was a servant, and they took any opportunity they could find to make fun of me for being a stay-at-home mom. I can't even tell you how many times I cried myself to sleep, but in all of it, Kyle would either stay quiet or he'd side with Gabby and Alex. Eventually, I got sick and tired of it. One time, after a particularly rough day of dealing with all 3 of their tantrums, I found a divorce lawyer and filed for a divorce. I was really angry at that time, but by the time I came back home, I'd cooled down, so I never ended up giving Kyle the papers. Then, a month after that, I happened to fall sick. I was a genuine mess, so I tried to rest as much as I could. I was in the kitchen one day when Alex came back home from school and commanded me to make him a sandwich. Rosa, make me a sandwich now. I'm really sick today. Can you make it yourself? Did I stutter? I wanted you to make me the sandwich. Alex, please don't throw a tantrum right now. Just make yourself a sandwich. I'm going to lie down. Who told you that you could do that? How hard is it to simply make me a sandwich? It's not hard. That's why I'm telling you to do it for yourself. Stop trying to act smart with me. I'm really tired, so I'm just going to bed. I have no energy for this today. You're tired? From what? Sitting on your butt all day? Whoa, what's going on here? Alex wants me to make him a sandwich, but I'm sick and feeling really tired. I told him to make the sandwich himself, and he's mad at me for it. Could you talk some sense to him? Talk sense into him? He's not saying anything wrong. You should make the sandwich for him. Are you serious? Do you not see how sick I am right now? I barely have the energy to stand, and you want me to go out of my way to do something that Alex could very easily do himself? What work did you do today? The house looks like a mess. I see no food prepared, and I'm sure that our laundry hasn't been done either. I think you could make Alex 1 sandwich. No, I need 2. And I want it quick. I had the most exhausting day at school, and I could really do with some energy, especially since Rosa forgot to pack me a lunch and I had no money on me to buy myself some food. Rosa, you didn't pack Alex his lunch? Yes, because I was sick. I barely managed to get out of bed today. Why can't you let me catch a break for once? What do you need a break from? You're always sitting at home and you never do anything to tire you out. We're the ones who are out of the house for almost the entire day. Yet you don't hear us whine about how tired we are compared to you. You know what? I'm done with you guys. When will you realize that housework is still work? Do you think it's easy to vacuum and mop the house every single day, along with cooking meals that cater to every single one of your guys' tastes and doing the laundry? Please don't bring your feminist crap into this. Get to work. I want to see the house spotless again and make sure you feed Alex properly. No. Excuse me? I said no. I'm done being pushed around by you guys. You've beaten my self-esteem down to nothing. I can't take any more of this. I'm leaving. I want nothing to do with any of you. Here are the divorce papers. Sign these and please never contact me again. You have the divorce papers ready? I knew that there would come a time when I'd be done with all of you, and today is the day. Where will you even go? If you leave this house right now, I will not let you come back. I won't come back. Anywhere else would be better than this place. I ran up to our room, packed all my essentials, and left. None of them tried to stop me. They just let me walk out like that. And I didn't know whether to feel relieved or hurt. I had nowhere to go and barely any cash. Thankfully, I still had the car that I owned. I drove to the nearest women's shelter and stayed there for the next few months. I picked up whatever odd jobs I could to sustain myself. Kyle also signed the divorce papers without making a fuss. I didn't get anything out of the divorce, and I didn't want anything either. I ended up making a friend at the shelter who managed to get back on her feet. She helped me out too, and she got me a great job at the company she was working at. I worked there for 2 years while steadily getting back on my feet. I was finally in a comfortable place and I was living happily. And that's when there was news of a big promotion in our department, and I was one of the candidates selected for it. My friend was incredibly happy for me, and she helped me do everything that I needed to do to prove that I deserved that promotion. I got that promotion, and from then on, I only climbed higher in my ranks. I ended up making a lot of connections through my new position at the company, and one of those connections was with the daughter of the CEO of the company that owned the company I worked for. I ended up becoming great friends with her, and eventually she also introduced me to her family. She was unmarried, so by family, I mean her parents. They ended up taking a liking to me too, and I ended up spending quite a lot of time with them. It felt nice to be treated well by others, and I enjoyed it as best I could. I also worked as hard as I could to show my friend's dad, the CEO of a big company, that I was capable of handling a lot of responsibilities. I was doing that because he had been talking about retiring for a while, but was struggling to find a good replacement. His daughter did not want to work with the business after he was gone because she only worked there to help him out, and once he left, she wanted to do the things she wanted. Eventually, my friend's dad recognized me and asked me if I'd be willing to replace him. Of course, I said yes, and for the next 6 months, he trained me for my new position. It was a lot more work than I anticipated, but I loved it. I felt beyond accomplished. When it came time for my friend's dad to retire, he decided to throw a huge dinner party for all the employees under all the companies he owned, to both celebrate his retirement and the new CEO of the company, me. When the day of the party arrived, I made sure to dress to the nines. I was going to be in the limelight and I needed to look my best. Was I nervous? Of course. I did not like being the center of attention, but I knew that this was necessary because it was a testament to my success. At the party, I got to mingle and socialize with a lot of different people. I was having the time of my life until I heard a familiar voice behind me. Rosa. Oh, Gabby and Alex and Kyle, hi. What are you doing here? Yeah, this is an event for the new CEO of the biggest firm in our city. What are you really here for? Oh, let me guess. You're here as a janitor? No, she's too nicely dressed for that. I know. You somehow snuck in here and you're trying to find another rich man to mooch off of? Guys, calm down. Why don't we let Rosa tell us which one of your guesses is right? I see you guys still haven't changed. That's nice. Rich coming from you. You're here to seduce some other poor man into funding you, aren't you? No, I'm actually here because I'm going to be the new CEO of the company. What? Ha! That's the most delusional and funniest thing I've heard in a long time. Yeah, oh my God, I can't stop laughing at that. Lying about why you're here is really not helping your case, Rosa. What makes you think I'm lying? Because we know what you're really like, and there's no way you could become the CEO of a huge company. I mean, you could barely work in our house. How could someone like you manage an entire business? I managed your house well. All three of you were just ungrateful, spiteful brats. I see you've grown some kind of backbone now. You would never have spoken to us this way before. If you'll excuse me, I have to be up on stage in 2 minutes. My heart was racing. I couldn't believe that the three of them were there at the party. I mean, the city we live in is not that big, but it was big enough for me to have not run into them for 5 years. I kept trying to figure out how they were at the party when I remembered that Kyle worked for a company under mine. Suddenly, I was filled with confidence. I knew that I needed to show them that they messed with the wrong woman. I went up on stage and received the plaque with my name on it with the title of CEO embossed beneath it. I gave a heartfelt speech and left the stage shortly after. After getting off the stage, I was congratulated by a lot of people, and I was so caught up with that I completely forgot that my ex-family was there. I happened to accidentally bump into Kyle, and the look of fear and horror on his face was enough to satisfy me. Rosa, you really are the new CEO? I told you so. But how? You were just an ugly housewife. What happened? Leaving you three was the best decision of my life. There was someone else who saw my potential and decided to help me hone it so I could go further in life. Oh, please, we didn't treat you that badly. Gabby literally just called me an ugly housewife. Even as soon as you guys saw me here, you started talking smack about me. Rosa, we're really sorry for how we treated you. Please come back. Yeah, I know I was mean to you, but I regret it. I promise I'll treat you better now. I'm also sorry for all the mean comments I threw your way. I should have known better, but now I do, so I'll be kinder to you. Is that all it took for you guys to treat me nicely? Having a respectable job? Well, we believe that everyone should contribute to the family in some way. So me cleaning the entire house from top to bottom every single day with no help whatsoever from you three was not a contribution at all? I mean, does doing chores get you money? Whether I earn money from it or not, it's still hard labor, something that all three of you disregarded because taking care of the house is a pathetic job. Well, the past is in the past. We've missed you a lot. Please come back home to us. We'll share your burdens. I want nothing to do with you three. I told you that I'd never return to that house, and that promise still stands. You ruined my life for years, and now I finally got back on my feet. I will not go back to you. Maybe give it some thought, at least. Yeah, you raised us since we were kids. Don't you love us at all? I have absolutely no love for selfish people. None of you want me back because you love me. You want me back because I would now make more money than all three of you combined. And before you say it, Kyle, I know that you're worried about your position in your company because my company owns yours. You're scared that I will do something about it. Let me just say, you're very right to feel that way. All the best to all three of you. You're going to regret how you treated me, and there's nothing you can say or do about it now. Oh, the dread and anxiety I had been feeling when I saw them disappeared. I felt great that I had managed to get myself in a position where I had them in the palm of my hands. I walked away from them after that conversation and chose to interact with other people. Of course, none of them could let me be, so they kept interrupting all of my conversations and kept trying to get me to talk to them in private. At some point, one of the security guys noticed how uncomfortable I was and asked me if I wanted them to be thrown out of the establishment. Of course, I said yes. Now, aside from my personal grudge against Kyle, I also had proof of him harassing me during the party that day. I contemplated actually doing something about it for a while because the last thing I wanted was to be anything like the three of them. Sure, they were mean to me, but there was no reason for me to not be the bigger person. But then Kyle texted me and told me that I was a horrible person for betraying my family and embarrassing them. There were a lot of curse words thrown in there too, and a lot of insults regarding my intelligence, skills, and looks. If I'm being completely honest, I saw red at that moment. All my desires to be a better person went flying out the window. I made sure I had enough screenshots of Kyle's text to me and also gathered the security footage from the day of the party of Kyle, Alex, and Gabby harassing me. The next day, a few members of my team and I went over to Kyle's company. It was a surprise visit, so people were shocked to see us there. I called an emergency meeting for everyone present. I walked into the conference room and one of my team members set up the laptop and the projector. Everyone looked confused about what was going on, but Kyle looked like he was going to throw up any second. I then addressed everyone and told them that there would be zero tolerance for workplace harassment or bullying. The CEO of the company asked me why I was suddenly saying that and if there had been any reports. I told him that no reports had been made, but I was setting an example that day. The video played then, and everyone saw Kyle and his children purposely interrupting me and getting up in my face to get my attention. Then came the screenshots of Kyle's messages to me. Needless to say, everyone was horrified. The CEO looked horrified and assured me that Kyle would be dealt with accordingly. I told him that I wanted Kyle out of the company. I told him that I refused to work with the business that tolerated such behavior among their employees. The CEO assured me that Kyle would be let go of as quickly as possible. I walked out of that office with the biggest smile on my face. I had finally gotten my revenge on Kyle and his ungrateful children. I hoped they'd be nice enough to help their poor unemployed father, but knowing them, that probably would not happen. I blocked Kyle everywhere and set my phone up so that all unknown calls would be screened, and I'd get to decide if I wanted to answer the phone just in case Kyle tried to use another number to contact me. Kyle did try to contact me through multiple numbers, but since I didn't pick up the calls, he'd leave me voicemails. He continued to blame me for his current fortune. I was right in thinking that Gabby and Alex would not help him out. Apparently, they can't seem to fathom that their father had lost a job and now sat at home all day. All the respect they'd had for him had disappeared. I couldn't help but laugh at that. I hoped he'd see then just how much I had to go through at the hands of the children he refused to raise right. I stopped keeping up with him after that, and now I'm living very happily. I know one thing for certain now. I will never let anybody treat me the way Kyle and his children treated me. I know now that I am capable of so much more than they made me feel. I've been doing great at work, and I can't wait to see where else I can go from here.